breaking news. And when I say breaking, I mean this is the kind of news that, well, it really signals a shift in the tectonic plates of European security.
A huge shift.
As of today, Monday, January 27, 2026, the German government has just put a bounty on the table that is, frankly, unprecedented.
It is.
We are talking about 1 million euros.
A million. That's not a typo.
It's a staggering sum.
And let's be clear right off the bat. This sends a very specific, very loud message to the world and to our adversaries.
Right.
This is no longer just about, vandalism or some local arson. This is about the security of Europe, the stability of NATO, and look, most importantly, our ability to stand with Ukraine.
And before we get into the weeds of this manhunt, I have to say, if you want to stay ahead of these stories, you really need to subscribe to Defense Reports.
It's your go-to source.
For timely, in-depth military and defense reports. I'm Alex.
And I'm Arya.
Join me with Arya in the latest podcast by Defense Report for a sharp, no-nonsense breakdown of the latest in global defense news, military technology, and strategic developments. And today we are covering the Berlin blackout.
We're going deep.
We are diving deep into that January 3rd attack that left 100,000 people freezing in the dark, a mysterious group called Vulcan Group that might be at war with itself, a mayor caught playing tennis, and the looming ghost of hybrid warfare that connects a burning cable in Berlin directly to the front lines in Ukraine.
It's a story that, it starts on this cold bridge in Berlin Southwest, but it ends up touching on the logistical lifeline of the war in Ukraine and really the future of how we protect our societies.
But let's start right at the top with this reward. 1 million euros. When I saw that this morning, my jaw it hit the floor. In the world of criminal investigations, that feels incredibly aggressive.
It is.
Is this desperation from the authorities, or is it a calculated move?
It's historic, without a doubt. Interior Senator Iris Spranger called it unique, but I'd go further.
Yes.
If you look back at German law enforcement history, rewards of this size, they're reserved for the absolute highest level threats. We're talking about the Red Army faction, the RAF, decades ago.
Yeah, you're terrorists.
Major terrorists, mass casualty events. You just do not see seven-figure payouts for, property damage.
So by putting this much cash on the table, they're essentially reclassifying what happened. They aren't just calling it arson anymore.
Precisely. The state is signaling a massive paradigm shift. They're no longer treating infrastructure sabotage as aggravated property damage.
No.
This is now officially being treated as terrorism. It's an attack on the constitutional order. And that money isn't just a reward, it's a weapon. It's designed to break the code of silence.
But play devil's advocate for a second. These radical groups, assuming it is a radical group, they're usually incredibly tight-knit, aren't they? They're driven by ideology, not profit.
They are.
Do we really think a suitcase full of cash is going to make someone turn in their comrade?
That's the gamble. You're right. The core believers, the ones actually planting the devices, they probably won't be bought. But these groups don't operate in a vacuum.
They have support networks.
Exactly.
Oh.
People on the periphery who might not be true believers, but they know something. And €1 million, that is a life-changing amount of money. It tests loyalty in a way that, say, 50,000 euros just doesn't.
It's psychological warfare.
It's designed to make everyone in that scene look over their shoulder and wonder if their friend is about to cash out.
Okay, to understand why the government is reacting with this intensity, we have to look at the damage itself. This wasn't a flickering light bulb. Take us back to the morning of January 3rd.
It's 6 a.m., deep winter. We're in Lichterfeld in southwest Berlin. To a casual observer, the location, a cable bridge over the Teltow Canal, looks like nothing, just some industrial infrastructure.
But it wasn't nothing.
To the people who planned this, it was a jugular vein. This wasn't random vandalism, it was surgical.
How surgical are we talking?
Extremely. They destroyed 5 110 kilovolt high voltage cables and 10 kilovolt medium voltage cables. Now, to understand why that matters, we have to talk about grid topology. You're familiar with the N1 principle.
I've come across it. It's basically the redundancy rule, right? If one component fails n-1, the system has a backup and stays online.
Exactly. A robust grid is designed so that if one line goes down, the load instantly shifts. Usually cities are built on a mesh or a ring to allow for this. But this attack didn't just cut a line.
It did something more.
It hit a critical choke point where multiple redundancies all converged. They severed the entire ring line.
So they knew that cutting this specific bridge would bypass that N1 safety net?
That's the prevailing theory. It implies, insider knowledge or some very significant reconnaissance. By severing that ring, they cut the main artery. There was no -1 backup path because they took out the primary and the secondary feeds all at once.
And the impact was,
Well, catastrophic. Instant darkness. 45,000 households, 2,200 businesses, about 100,000 people in total. And you have to remember, in a modern city, electricity is the foundation for everything.
so no power means no heat.
No heating pumps in the dead of winter, which is life-threatening for the elderly.
Right.
No elevators and high-rises. People were trapped. Mobile towers, their backup batteries drained, and they just went silent. The internet vanished. You had hospitals, nursing homes completely paralyzed.
How long did this last?
It wasn't fully fixed until January 7th. That is 4 days. A major Western capital functioning like it's in the 19th century.
I read the response was so overwhelmed they had to call in the cavalry. Literally.
They declared a major damage situation. The Bundeswehr, the German army, had to deploy. Logistics Battalion 172 was sent in just to transport fuel for emergency generators.
The military driving diesel trucks through the capital.
Just to keep grandmothers warm. It shows you just how fragile the whole system actually is.
And that fragility, that's what brings us to the suspects. Because if a group can cause that much chaos with, some fire accelerant, that's terrifying. Who is claiming credit?
This is where the story gets murky. And frankly, bizarre. A letter was published on Indomedia by a group calling themselves Vulcan Group, the Volcano Group.
And they've been around a while.
Since about 2011, they've been on the radar.
So what's their pitch? What do they want?
They're a left-wing extremist network, or maybe a brand used by different cells. Their ideology is all about attacking the fossil fuel economy and what they call green capitalism.
Green capitalism. That explains why they've gone after Tesla in the past.
That's right. They targeted the Tesla Gigafactory before. They see electric cars as just another consumerist trap. This letter was titled, "Cut the Juice to the Ruling Class."
And did they say anything about the 100,000 people they left freezing?
They apologized to the ordinary people, which rings pretty hollow, let's be honest. But they said they had limited sympathy for the villa owners in the wealthy districts.
Classic class warfare rhetoric. But here's where my research got confusing. There wasn't just one letter, was there?
No. And this is where the counterintelligence alarm bells start ringing. It became a hall of mirrors.
What do you mean?
You had the first letter claiming responsibility.
Oh.
Then a second letter appeared rejecting rumors of foreign interference, specifically denying any Russian link.
Okay.
And then a third letter showed up from a group claiming to be the original Vulcan Group from 2011 saying, "We didn't do this, this isn't us, we don't endanger the public like this."
So we have, a brand identity crisis among anarchists?
Or something more sinister. It suggests one of three things. One, the group is splitting apart, hardliners and the old guard.
Okay.
Two, you've got copycats using the name. Or three, and this is the theory gaining traction in defense circles, the Vulcan Group label is being used as a convenient mask, a false flag,
Through a state actor.
to disguise a hybrid warfare operation.
And that brings us to the Russian ghost in the room. I know the police initially dismissed the idea that the first letter was a bad Russian translation. They called that fake news. But we have to look beyond the grammar of the blog post here.
We do. We have to look at capabilities and intent. Even if the person lighting the match was a local radical, who's feeding them the targeting data?
Who benefits from the chaos?
Exactly. We need to put this in the context of what NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte just said in Berlin.
That speech was chilling. He did not mince words.
He didn't. Rutte was explicit. We are already in harm's way. He said Russia has shifted to a full war economy, producing 2,900 attack drones a month.
Per month.
But more importantly, he warned that Russia is waging a covert campaign of sabotage across Europe right now. Explosives in parcels, airspace violations, attacks on energy infrastructure.
This is where we need to connect the dots for our listeners. Why does a blackout in Berlin matter for the war in Ukraine?
Because Berlin isn't just a city, it's a logistics hub, a vital one. Rutte referenced the upcoming exercise, Steadfast Dart 26. If NATO needs to move troops, tanks, ammunition to the eastern flank to Poland to the Ukrainian border, those trains and convoys run through German infrastructure.
Germany is the turntable for European defense.
Exactly. If you paralyze the power grid in Berlin or Brandenburg, you aren't just delaying commuters, you are potentially halting the rail networks that carry supplies to the front. It's a bottleneck.
And we have to talk about the PURL initiative.
PURL, right. Break that down for us.
It's the initiative to supply Patriot missiles to Ukraine. And Germany is currently responsible for, what is it?
75%. Germany is supplying 75% of the Patriot missiles that Ukraine is using to shoot down Russian hypersonic weapons.
So if you destabilize Germany, you are directly weakening the air defense over Kyiv.
That is the direct line. A burning cable in Lichterfield translates to a gap in the air defense shield over Kharkiv, or Kyiv. This is hybrid warfare 101.
Attack the rear logistics.
Attack their rear logistics and their political will without ever officially declaring war. We saw the exact same pattern with the Sandworm cyber attacks on the Polish grid in late 2025. It is a systematic campaign.
It's terrifying to think that the front line isn't just in the Donbas, but literally under a bridge in a Berlin suburb. And yet, while this is all looming, the political reaction locally felt a bit disconnected.
You're referring to Tennisgate, I assume.
I am. It's almost hard to believe. Berlin's mayor, Kai Wegner, on the first day of a blackout affecting 100,000 of his citizens, went to play tennis.
A massive PR disaster. He claimed he was organizing his thoughts and was only unreachable for an hour, but the optics were terrible.
Terrible is an understatement.
You have the army hauling diesel to hospitals, and the mayor is working on his backhand. But I think rather than just bashing the mayor, we should see this as a symptom.
A symptom of what? Complacency.
Exactly. A peacetime mindset in a wartime reality. European politicians are still operating as if this is a stable, predictable world, and our adversaries are on a war footing. This leads to what experts are calling the transparency paradox.
This is a really interesting policy debate. Unpack that for us.
So for years, EU and German laws have required that grid operators publish detailed maps of their infrastructure.
For competition.
The logic was sound, yeah. Transparency encourages competition, lets new providers plug in. It's a very democratic free market idea.
But in a hybrid war context, a detailed map is a targeting list.
That is exactly what the BDDW, the Energy Industry Association, is screaming about now. They're saying, we served our critical infrastructure to the saboteurs on a silver platter.
So we crowdsourced our own vulnerability.
Any intelligence agent or any angry anarchist with an internet connection can look up exactly where the nodes, the transformers, and the bottlenecks are.
So there's a push to change this now with the KRITIS umbrella law, but laws take time. What about physical security? You said we're moving beyond chain link fences.
We have to. The consensus now is that we need to move from repairing to defending. And the tech being rolled out is, well, it's straight out of science fiction. We're talking about Seabotics.
This is the robot dog stuff.
It is. Autonomous quadrupedal robots, but it's not a gimmick. These machines can patrol substations 24/7. They have thermal imaging that can detect a spike in cable temperature, a pre-fire condition, long before a human would notice.
And they can tell the difference between an animal and a person.
A fox, a deer, or a human intruder carrying a backpack. Yes. Combined with AI-supported video and drone defense systems, we are looking at the militarization of civilian infrastructure. It's expensive, but it's the only way.
It feels like a necessary evolution. If we want to support Ukraine, which we must, and if we want to keep our own society running, we can't leave the back door open.
We can't. Resilience is the new deterrence. If Russia or any saboteur knows the grid is hardened, monitored by AI, and protected by rapid response, the cost of the attack goes way up.
And right now, it's too easy.
Way too easy. And as long as it's easy, they will keep doing it to try and break our will to support our allies.
That is the sobering reality of 2026. The boundaries between a local crime scene and international strategy have completely dissolved.
And for you listening, it means the light staying on isn't a guarantee anymore. It's a daily victory won by engineers, intelligence officers, and yeah, maybe even robot dogs.
I want to leave you with a thought today. We talked about this tension between transparency and security. In this hyper-connected world, is it even possible to have an open society with transparent infrastructure without handing a roadmap to those who want to destroy us?
And are you willing to pay the price, both in euros and in privacy, to keep the lights on and the supply lines to Ukraine open?
It's a trade-off we're all going to have to decide on very soon.
The era of naive security is over.
You've been listening to Defense Report by Alex and Arya, where we analyze the latest in military strategy, global defense, and advanced weaponry.
Stay vigilant.
And don't forget, subscribe to Defense Reports, your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. We'll catch you next time.